Alright, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. This is take number 2. I tried this yesterday. I couldn't make it work. My hotspot, because it's better than my internet connection out here. Okay, so we're going to show how to set up Reticulum network, how to add interfaces, all that kind of stuff in this video. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try to show or talk about what I'm doing as well. So I guess let's get started. So I have a fresh SD card of Debian Trixie on a Raspberry Pi 5. I've done this on a Pi 4 as well. It works just fine. Same exact steps. Debian Trixie, this current version that it's on there, is what this is for. All the commands are going to work the same. Dependencies are all going to be the same, but your other operating systems will be really similar, just not at the exact same commands, not the same dependencies. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do sudo apt install pip. I need to install Python pip. It's already installed on this. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go pip install RNS. And it's going to come up with this. It's externally managed. You know, probably shouldn't do this. I don't really care. So we're going to hash break hash system hash where'd it go? Packages. So now it's downloading Reticulum Network, and then we have Reticulum Network installed. Pip install LXMF. It's going to be the same thing, so we're going to go hash break system packages. Okay, now we have the LXMF system. We might as well install Nomad Net while we're here. So pip install Nomad Net, same thing. Break system packages. Here, I'll make this full size. Maybe you guys can see it slightly better. Okay, so now we have Nomad Net. Now that we have all three of these, we need to reboot real quick. So you can either go here, reboot, or you can do, let's do this. Now that we have all of this downloaded, let's create a wireless hotspot. We'll just call it RNS. We'll do WPA2 security with a password. God damn it. I have fat fingers. So now we've got that. I can turn my hotspot off because we have everything we need downloaded. Network connection been disconnected. Connected to the wireless network RNS. That's my hotspot. So now we're going to shut down, or we're going to reboot. This isn't a long process. I did it all yesterday on this phone, and I didn't have enough storage space to put my edited video together into one and then save it on that phone again. So now I'm doing it on an actual camera. So I had it all done on this arm mount that I have up here. It's getting ready to fall because it's kind of shitty. Okay, we don't want to connect to that wireless network. We want to connect to RNS. Okay. So now what we're going to do is rnsd ## config, and then all caps config again. Actually, let's do this. Let's just do rnsd. Default configuration file created. Make any necessary changes at this address and restart as if needed. So we'll open a second terminal, and my fucking name on here. Apparently it didn't change the name on here when I changed it. So we're gonna go sudo nano /home / the name of the node. This one is not. This one's RNS /dot reticulum /config. Okay, so this is your default configuration file. Right here, it shows that you can do rnsd ## example config to come up with an example configuration file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to enable transport. We're going to change that to true. Share instance, we want that to be yes. Oh, it was already yes. Want that to be yes. Instance name doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want. Shared instance port. We're going to uncomment this, and the control port, uncomment that. We're going to go discover interfaces. We're uncomment that and go yes. Panic on interface error, we want that to be no. We're going to uncomment that. It's already set that way, but we're just going to uncomment it. If you want to connect to a black hole source, you can. I don't even know what that is. It doesn't matter to me. Log level 6 is what I prefer. And then interfaces. Your default interface is a Wi-Fi connection. So whether you're connected to a router or you're doing a hotspot on your system, that's what that is. What we're going to do is we're going to add an R node interface. Type R node interface. Enabled equals yes. Port equals, and we're going to leave that blank. I have to look real quick. Actually, here, I'll do it. Turn the hotspot back on for the time being. And I don't have my dongle hooked up to this, so I can't run the hotspot and the Pi's hotspot that it creates and go off of my phone's hotspot. Can't do it at the same time. So we're going to open a web browser. Unlock keyring. Okay, we're going to go Reticulum network interfaces. So search that. Configuring interfaces. So right here we can see how they configure interfaces. It will give you a description of what everything actually does. So you can add anything you want off of this list, right? So there's backbone interfaces, remote stuff, TCP server, TCP client, UDP, I'm not entirely sure what that is, I2P, R node, LoRa interfaces. So this is what we're doing right now. So it gives you an example for all of that, right? So I've done port. Now I need to come down here Of course. Move that over, and we want to work with this. Okay, so we've done port. I'll show you how to figure out the ports in a little bit. Now we're gonna go frequency equals, I'm doing 920, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bandwidth equals, I did 62.5, and then I need to add 2 zeros. Bam. TX power equals 22. I want max TX 22 dBm. Spreading factor equals 8. Coding rate equals, I did 6 on my stuff, it says 5 there. Okay, and then we're going to go, that's it. That's it for that one. So we'll do a KISS. We'll do KISS HT, because HTs need around 1200 baud, and for your like UHF, VHF, and then it's in the 300-ish for HF. So we're going to do KISS HT because I'll plug this radio in and show you that it does actually work. Okay, camera cut off. We're on KISS interface, KISS HT for the name of it, type KISS interface, and then now we're going to go down this list and add all of this, right? And I will show you the port. Okay, we didn't do that yet. Speed is your baud rate. I do 1200 for the DigiRig mobile and a UHF VHF radio. Speed, data bits equals 8. Parity equals none. Stop bits equals 1. Preamble equals 150. TX tail equals 10. I'm just taking the settings right off of here, and if you need to change any of that, you can for your specific radio, any of that kind of stuff. You can totally make those changes on your own. This does work for what I'm using here. Persistence equals 200. Oh. Slot time equals 20. And then we go, oh. Flow control equals false. And that's it. So now we're going to get Control X, save modified buffer, Y for yes, N for no, Y, and we're going to save it to that spot. So now, let me show you that it does in fact work. So I have this radio, turn it on, set it up here, plug it into my DigiRig on the serial side. We'll let that boot. Oh, we haven't. We have not. Okay. You can go to a flasher. I like MeshCore. I was using MeshCore previously for some other stuff, and I just decided I'm going to use their flasher to figure out what ports things are connected to. So you can just pick one, it doesn't matter. Companion Bluetooth, enter DFU mode, and so it will show you that my rack whiz block is connected to ACM0 and my DigiRig is a CP2102 USB to UART bridge. That's USB 0. So what we'll do is we'll go back into this configuration file because I forgot about that. We will add those ports. So for the R node, we go /dev/tty capitals ACM 0. Bam. That's that port. And then we go here, we go /dev/tty capital USB 0. There you go. So we have that set up all the way. So we're going to go X. We need to, yes, save it. Same place. Okay. Now we're going to go RNSD. And we need to go ## config, all caps, config. That did not work the way it was supposed to. Let's do that, and then we'll just type RNSD. And now you can see it opened that serial port, ACM0. R node is opened up, skipping the disabled interface KISS HT. Why is that disabled? Did I not enable it? I must not have enabled it. Yeah, I didn't enable it. Okay. So between type and port, we need to enabled equals yes. My bad, forgot to do that. We're going to save that, and we're going to exit this terminal, start a new one, RNSD. So it opened the serial port ACM0. Boom, radio just kicked on. So it opened ACM0, configured the R node how it's supposed to be, opened USB 0, configured the KISS interface, it's configured, and now we have transport instance C74 whatever the fuck started. So that worked. Now we can get rid of this. We're going to switch this internet off, and it's going to say carrier loss. Yep, we know. Okay, it should have just picked up the new hotspot. Now I can connect this phone to it. Which it's connected to a different hotspot right now. Okay, we're going to connect to that hotspot. Connected. Now I'll open up the sideband app, and I will send an announce, and you'll see it send through this as well. So it just lit up that radio. I'm not sure if you can see it because I didn't come back here and look. Yeah, you can. It just lit up that radio. So that's good. It also sent it out through the R node. So that's good. Now I have a TDEC that I just started using. I put Ratspeak OS on here, and it works really well. Let's send an announce. Bam, destination is now 1 hops away. It's going to rebroadcast that announce. Give it just a second, and it should kick that radio on again. Key up the TX on that radio. But so now we have an R node, right? I'm going to go to chats. I'm going to use this phone here, and I'm going to say, ooh. Yeah, see, now it kicked that radio on. It kicked that on for the announce, so we're good there. I type testing. I'm going to send it. It says sent. Now it's green. Now this should have a message from Scruffy TDEC. I have a message that says testing. So that's jumping through this transport node. Now you can set this up headless. You can do this all through the command line interface. But what's nice about having the desktop, at least to set it up, is that you can go in here and just click on your internet icon and set up your hotspot that way. And you can go into your files and you can look at the configuration file, right? It's a little bit easier. Now if you want to start a propagation node, it's sending an announce for some reason. I'm going to turn this off because it's the FCC probably isn't going to like that. So be careful. There's differing opinions on whether encryption is legal or not in the ham bands in any kind of radio, and the way the law is written is you're not allowed to obscure the meaning of the transmission. Now that could be talking in code or that could be an encryption. Two different schools of thought there. Obscure the meaning, to me, I think talking in code, not encryption, but a lot of the older guys don't like encryption and you might get talked to. So let's just shut this one down and we're going to go LXMD hash P. So now we've created a default configuration file for LXMF system, and that is going to, that's a propagation node, right? So we're LXMF propagation node started on this number. It configured the KISS interface and the R node. It did all of that. Started LXMD, started RNS system. So we're all good there. Any messages that are sent that can't be delivered will be stored until that device comes back into the network, and then they'll be delivered to that device. I was just messing with this just a few minutes ago. So we're good there. Default configuration file, it tells you where you can find that. And you can make changes in that if you'd like to. It doesn't really matter that much. But there's that. Now we have Nomad Net. Because this is my first time using this camera. Apparently I'm going to have to combine 3 clips. You can look at the log here. You can, in your configuration file, change the logging to be more pronounced. It'll tell you everything that's going. You can add hubs and channels, so you can create like chat rooms. I haven't really messed with that yet. Supposedly you have to add a room. I don't know. I haven't done anything with that yet. You can look at the network. You go over here. You push Control L, and you'll see announces. And then here you can look at conversations. So that's Nomad Net works fairly well. I like it for like a PC application. If you're doing on a phone, all you can get is sideband, which is fine, and that's on Android phone. And then there is, I don't remember what it's called, but there is another app for iPhone, for Apple phones and tablets, but it doesn't allow you to connect through the serial port. So you cannot connect anything through here. So that means you couldn't connect a digi-rig and a radio to it and use that app, and you couldn't connect a R node through the serial port. It's only Bluetooth. I'm not a real big fan of that, but I'm going to be playing with this LilyGo T-Deck for a little while. Once I get this all going how I think it should be, I'm going to make a transport node, build that into my car, and I'll have another transport node built in here in the garage. I run them off of, let's see if I can position you so you can see it here. I am running them off of a DeWalt 20 volt battery up there. Come on, focus. Oh, it's because we're on autofocus here. Let's focus it. A DeWalt 20 volt battery with an inverter. And it's working really well. Wow, you might not have been able to see any of that. Well, I tried. It's fairly easy to configure this. We're zoomed in really far for some reason. Okay, hopefully that's working right. It's very easy to configure. Doesn't really take very much. You can do this on a laptop, a PC, like desktop PC, Raspberry Pi. I've been using a Raspberry Pi 5 as a desktop PC for a while. I'm just reflashing now so I can show you guys, and then I'm gonna, this is an SD card that I just flashed for this. I typically run this off of an SSD attached to the bottom, so all of my stuff is still there. But this is not difficult to do. I don't know how long this video is now. It's less than an hour, I would imagine. And we have two different RF interfaces and the Wi-Fi working. It's a transport instance. It'll cross between them, and we have a propagation node set up. That's a lot of power, basically, I guess is what I could say. That's a lot of power that you have for communication in an hour of setup. The video that I filmed yesterday, I did all the same stuff except for LXMF propagation, and I didn't do Nomad Network. And the reason is that was already a 40-minute video at that point because I struggled a little bit in between. And but today, well, after I made that video, I set one up for a friend. He came in the garage, and we set one up for him exactly like I just showed, and tested it, and it works. So he's taking that home now, and he can mess with stuff here and there as he needs to. So I did two yesterday. First one I struggled with, second one was real fast, and this one today, it's really not that difficult to set these up. You can set them up on battery power. I have this. This has a pi4B with a battery in it, and I have an R node hooked up to it. I need to make the top of it still, put all my bulkheads in there. It's going to have a Wi-Fi antenna and the LoRa antenna and an Ethernet port, and then I'm going to put two different digi-rigs in here. So it'll have two 3.5mm TRRS ports in it. One of the digi-rigs will be 300 baud set up in the config file, and the other one will be 1200, so that I can label one HF and one VHF, UHF, VHF. And then that way I can, whatever radio I'm plugging into it, I can just plug it in. I don't have to go into my configuration file and set it up. I can just push the power button on this and plug in the interfaces that I want to use. Without anything plugged into it, it will show that the KISS interfaces are working, but it won't be able to use them because they are not, there's not an actual radio plugged in. It won't cause any issues. It will think that it sent it out because it's communicating with the digi-rig, and the digi-rig is saying, yep, sent it, but it didn't actually. So then you would just have basically just an R node, LoRa transport repeater, essentially. And that's all this really is it's a small, compact repeater that will bridge different systems. And I think that's really valuable. I haven't tried to send files or pictures through RF yet. You could do it over the Wi-Fi connection only, and you could do it through TCP, through the internet. But I have not tried it on RF. That's something that you are totally capable of doing. But yeah, this system works. I've tried it with 2 different phones and with this, and I don't have another radio that I can hook up to the digi-rig at this exact moment, so that I could test UHF or VHF of digi-rig to make sure that it crosses those correctly. I don't see why it wouldn't, but yeah, it's not that difficult. You don't need the internet to talk to people, and you don't need cell service to talk to people. This is really easy to do. Get yourself an Android phone, get yourself a Raspberry Pi. This can be done with a Zero also. It just doesn't have as many ports on it. So you'd have to manually wire your own ports, solder them, all that. Which is doable, it's just not something I want to get into. And I have an Ethernet port, so if I want to hook this up to a Starlink Mini out in the middle of the desert somewhere, I could do that. And I can use R nodes of some sort to send to my transport node, and then the transport node will send it out through the Starlink, through the internet, to wherever it needs to go. So you can create your own network really, really easily with this, and you can have as much of a network as you want. You can keep it local with LoRa, you can expand it some with the UHF or VHF radio, and then you can expand it worldwide depending on what you use for an HF radio, what bands, antennas, output power, all that kind of stuff. You could scale that up too, and use skip propagation to get over into other countries, and all the way across the United States. So, I mean, it's really easy to set up your own network. It's not a difficult task at all, and it's something I think more people should be involved in. There was no how-to videos of any kind on how to do this. I've looked through forums, I've asked questions on Facebook and Reddit, and I've done a lot of trial and error on my own. This is 3 years in the making that I've been working on this on and off. A little bit here, a little bit there, to figure this stuff out. And I'm finally at a point where I can throw one of these together in an hour. And it's really not that difficult. So hopefully whoever needs this video can use it, follow along, and set up their own. Commands are going to be a little bit different on like a PC with Ubuntu. It's going to use a little bit different commands. Once you get into pip, once you install pip, it's smooth sailing, it's all exactly the same. But it's like the sudo apt install that I did to get pip. It's going to be different for Ubuntu or whatever. Windows, there's different ways to do it as well. But you should definitely do this, because it's not that difficult and it improves your capabilities a lot.